Hey, welcome back, guys, to another video. In this video, I will be reacting to Jeff Lynne and Evil Woman. Okay, now I don't know. Jeff Lynne usually puts Electric Light Orchestra in that, but that's remember ELO back when I was a kid. It was ELO. There wasn't Jeff Lynne, and Electric Light Orchestra. It was just Electric Light Orchestra or ELO, right? I mean, sure, Jeff Lynne was in charge, but it wasn't until later in life it seemed like they dropped the orchestra and just kept it Jeff Lynne. But neither here nor there. But let's jump into this video and I'll react as we go along, or at the end, whatever goes on, right? I mean, that's the way reactions work. So let's jump into it.
You made a fool of me, but the broken dreams have got to end.
Yeah, just to give you some insight, the video that I'm coming off of is not directly syncing with the sound. So it's not on my end. I'm just playing it. I mean, you get the gist of it, but I mean, he looks pretty young. I seen a picture of him, or he was actually singing this, and he looked quite old. I mean, I know, you get old, but I watched a video from a concert that was in Wembley Stadium, 2017, and he really didn't look much different. I mean, yeah, he did look older, but he carried his age really well. But the last one I seen, I think it was in 25, and he looked pretty. He didn't look rough, but he didn't look as he didn't have the vibrancy as he does in a lot of his other videos.
Miles between you and there. There's a hole in my head where the wind comes in. You took my body and played to win. Hi, hi, woman, crying shame, but you ain't got nobody else to blame. Evil woman.
Yeah, see, and I've noticed the older videos, it was ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, and on newer ones, it's Jeff Lynne, and then the name of the song, right? So if you look at Jeff Lynne and after the years, it was, I don't know what happened to the orchestra. I don't follow the bands year after year, but it's just shocking to me. You remember these guys singing, whether it was Mick Jagger or some of these other guys. It was funny. Who was it? The guy that sang Casey and the Sunshine Band. Casey. I seen him, and he's quite large. And I'm looking back, and I'm thinking, I don't remember these guys like that. I mean, I'm sure if I seen somebody when I went to high school and they looked at me, hey, dude, you look old, but yeah, I guess that's what happens, right? I like that quote. I mean, that's a great quote. A fool and his money will go their separate ways, right? I mean, it's timely. I mean, it's biblical, right? But there's so many, different, scenarios, not scenarios, but examples and accounts of people who've gained money foolishly, whether they stole it, whether they win the lottery, whether it was inherited, and how fast they spend that money. It's just, that's a great quote.
Hi, woman, what you gonna do? Destroyed all the virtues that the Lord gave
That I'm sorry, but there's so much in that song. You destroyed the virtue that God gave to you. It's just, the lyrics are crazy.
So good that you're feeling pain, but you better get your face on board the very next train.
In this one, I don't see any background singers. He looks like he's in a high school auditorium. In this, I don't know what year it was. Maybe it was, if you guys know, let me know.
Evil woman, how you done me wrong. Now you're trying to wail a different song. Hi, honey, how you broke me up. You made the wine, now you drink the cup. Came running every time you cry. Stole love's mine.
You can't go running every time you cry.
Very nice to know that you ain't got no place for love to go.
She's just an evil woman. That's all she is. Sounds like the dude just had enough, man. Get out of my face, pretty much. It's like, if you want to leave, man, more power to you. Get on that train and, you had it made, But, hey, whatever went on in that situation, I don't know if he's knew somebody, if that happened to him or whatever relationship, but yeah, there's so much into it. I said earlier, but I don't know when this actual video, we're recording at. I know the song came out in 76. 1976, 75, 76, 77, 78. Them were some fabulous years for rock. It wasn't the rock like the 80s, right? It was, these guys were still evolving, you look at the 60s rock, there was a lot of, there was a lot of going on, right? You had simple music, the Carpenters, and then they kind of broke off, and then you had these other bands like Leonard Skinner, and then you started getting into CCR and all these other, bands. There was so much different. I wouldn't say warring, but you had music like this that wasn't way out there. It wasn't Jimi Hendrix and guitar. They just seemed to play along with each other. They mixed everything in. You had, the violin, you had the drums, you had the synthesizer, you had guitars. It was a blend. Then you came along and you had later in the 70s, you come up with, well, even in the 60s when you had, 70s, when you had, bands like Earth, Wind, and Fire in groups like that. And then you had Casey and the Sunshine Band. They were moving away from that. And then it wasn't until the early 80s when you had started the rap with the Sugar Hill Gang and Rapper's Delight, right? So it was almost like these infant stages trying to figure out how you were going to move from different directions. You move from, the 1960s where you had a lot of the pop music. I would say pop, but more like, the more than one singer or a group of singers, right? You had backup vocals. And then you kind of, you had a lot of instruments, in the late 70s. It seemed like Earth, Wind, and Fire, and like I say, Casey and the Shine, they had a mixture of horns and violins and guitar. It was all in there, right? So you see all these start to branch out, whether it was, hard rock, and then it went to, grunge music or rap and, country music. There's so many different genres. I'm not to say they weren't there before, but it just seemed to explode after the 1950s. Most of the music was almost the same, right? And after that, you had all these splinters going out. That's the way I looked at it. But there was, you didn't get till the 80s till you got all these different genres. So basically, we had a radio when we were kids, and you turn it on and you get your local radio station and they played the top 20. I remember, who was it? Casey Kasem, right? He come out every Saturday morning and he played, the top hits, right? You look forward to that because we didn't have social media back then. So you lived with what you had at the time, right? You get looked up in the morning, you play Casey Kasem, and it was on all morning long, a couple hours long, and you listened to that, right? And then you had your local DJs come on and they were playing what they had to according to their contracts to play these songs in the top 50. Top 10. Most of the time, they were top 10, top 20 songs, and you heard them all day long. They didn't throw anything else in there. But I appreciate you guys listening. You guys like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye now.